Hi, this is Duke.
And this is Shirley.
And this is Steve.
And you are listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Okay, this is Walter from iWalter. Yeah, by the way, just so people know, I've been screwing up. I've been trying to do this for the last 30, 40 minutes. I have no clue. Hopefully I sound okay. I'm trying to check my levels. I'm actually using my Mac tonight. It was just more convenient. The people in the beginning did not mention where they were from. They mentioned their names. Most people may not know. So just to give you a heads up, because I'll be using that plug for quite a while now that I have actually was able to get another big celebrity to do one, or celebrities. That is actually the band of Garbage. So that opening with Shirley Manson, actually who that was. I'm not really familiar with the other two guys, but that was Shirley Manson from Garbage, the lead vocalist. So yeah, I actually had her do a plug for my show. I was very pleased. I went and seen them on a meet and greet last night. I'm actually half tempted to do one now with Rob Zombie because once again, Rob Zombie's going to actually be not too far. I saw him a couple years ago, but this is before I even started my whole thing with doing asking celebrities for plugs. This started just recently this year when I went down to Red Bank to see the Comic Book Men, and I wanted to do an interview with them. And then they said, well, Walt Flanagan at least said, hey, I won't do a show with you, but I will do a plug. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's actually a really decent idea. So then, my second successful attempt, I tried to get the guy from the Penguin who plays on Gotham, and he wouldn't do it. But then, so I kind of very leery when I get certain people. But then I got John Carpenter to do one, and now I got Shirley Manson from Garbage to give me actually a plug for my show. I got a photo shoot with her. I'd like to get Rob Zombie if I could. I don't know if it's later this year. It's in September. It's on September 15th. It's up in Bethlehem, which is actually not that far from where I live, so that I could actually possibly pull that one off. So sorry about that. My friend Matt just called me, and I didn't pick up. We've been playing phone tag. It's mostly my fault, but I went and seen the original Aliens, and I think it was called It Came from Outer Space, which they said was actually Alien. Did I say Alien? But the Alien movie, actually, they claimed ripped off this movie. I think that's what it was. You know what? I just ripped up my ticket stuff, so I don't know. I wasn't seeing that in the Phoenixville. Let me check. Already I'm starting this thing. It is the 31st of July, very last day of the month. It's hard to believe it's now going to be August 1st. God, this year has gone so fast, and I knew it would. You know why? Because it's election year. I'm not saying that's the only reason why, but to me it feels that's the reason why. So let me put this in. Let's see. Alien movie. Let me just put it in Phoenixville because that's where I saw it. And it was funny. It's an inside joke with my friend's brother and stuff, but and my friend. But what was I going to say? They they always make this joke about somebody they know who he's so cheap. He always looks for where he can get things for free. So what he ended up doing was I just had the right tape. What he ended up doing, though, was today they were making jokes about, well, not just today, but they were always making jokes, you can get this for free and stuff. So it's like the inside joke with my one friend and his brother, but I end up kind of getting involved with it. I found the movie, by the way. So, maybe I should just put up that picture as my thing partially tonight if I can. Try to grab it now so I won't forget. So, yeah, I didn't realize this, but you can actually, it was free to park in, local park and near the movie theater. You normally have to pay for, I think it's 25 cents for 15 minutes, whatever. I'll put the money in. I just don't want to get a ticket. And I saw nobody had marked in this one parking lot where there was have meters running. There's like no free parking in Phoenixville. And lo and behold, though, I looked at the sign. I was like, wow, it's free parking today, and was making a joke out of it. So anyway, the other movie was actually called It, The Terror from Beyond Space. So I was pretty damn close, I'll have to tell you that much. And I can see there's a lot of similarities in this movie. It says $50,000 guaranteed. I guess that's how much it might have cost to make this movie. It's a low-budget science fiction film that came out, I would say, in the 50s, I guess. The costume, the guy gives a little bit of why he was running these films. This guy, he shows all these horror marathons and other type of things, but today he was actually showing some classic movies. Now, the Alien movie he showed was must have been like a remastered, or maybe it was a Blu-ray copy. I don't know, because sometimes they do show things on disc as opposed to your conventional way of just getting the reels. But this one was so clean and so sharp. It was unbelievable. It was like you could walk almost onto the screen for an old movie. And it was on a big screen. They actually had to widen the screen to put it on there. So, yeah, it said The Terror from Beyond Space, and it was an Alien double feature. And the reason was, again, they're saying that basically, you know what? I was saying his name all day. Ridley Scott basically ripped off this other movie is what they were insinuating. Not the guy who was putting on these films, but he says, you know what, this would be a good thing to let you do the comparison, see what you think. So the first movie it says 69 minutes. It was only like an hour and 10 minutes, not even. So, and it was funny. I didn't eat anything before I went, but then I decided to get a soda, and it hit me so hard really quickly that I didn't think I was going to make it through even a little over an hour movie. Basically, pretty much a little over. Yeah. So I barely did. I almost thought I was going to crap my pants. So, but that was in 1958, and then it was 117 minutes for the other one, the Alien movie, the original Ridley Scott one. And I think that was like, what was that? God, I can't remember when that came out now. I thought it was like, 1979. Now, the problem was I did go to, we left. A friend actually went with me. I have to thank my friend Matt for going with me. I said, hey, I'll buy your ticket if you go with me, drive me down there. If you drive for my meet and greet, which I felt bad because he had to sit around for an awful long time. I mean, the meet and greet was at 7, and Shirley Manson and Garbage did not come on until 9 o'clock at night. So that was a bit of a hike, and there was the thing was about 2 hours, whatever, for the whole setup for people who got different package deals. But still, that's a long wait for my friend. So, but he was willing to do it, and I really appreciate it. He doesn't know how much I appreciate it, but I really did. I just didn't want to be bothered going down that section of Philly, which was it Fillmore or something? I have a receipt right here because I bought something at their bar to eat because I didn't have anything to eat. Yeah, the Fillmore. So, it was aggravating, but don't get me wrong. I'm going to clarify this with my friend because he thought I really have a good time. I think I would have not had a good time. Honestly, tell my friend Matt, I would not have had a good time if I didn't see the group beforehand, because anymore, to get more people, get more money out of these concerts, what they do is they make a general admission where you're standing the whole entire concert. And at first that was okay because they sectioned people off, or they had people who couldn't afford to stand on the ground. But then somebody came to the realization we can put more people in a smaller place and make just as much money by squeezing them in there like sardines. Like you can't even move. So, and that's been the last couple concerts I've gone to, and it's gotten really irritating. It's actually because you got people to bang into or just basically push you over just to get in front of you. So it's really aggravating. Anyway, that was one thing I did not like, but going to the meet and greet actually meant, a lot to me. That was worth the money. I think my friend asked me, and I honestly don't remember what I paid. I'm taking an educated guess at about $250 because honestly, garbage was on sale for quite a while before I decided, like, you know what the hell? I'm just going to do it. Fuck it. I'm going and buy a ticket for garbage. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do a meet and greet, which, again, it was worth it. I was just getting cold feet. I didn't want to go down there by myself. I know I'm skipping around. I always do. It's nothing new with me. So, went down there, got down there with plenty of time. My friend got down there. We had to wait outside a little bit. And it started downpouring. So, and it was at 5 o'clock, as they said. Then you had to wait inside for another 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And then they had to get everybody sorted out. There was only like, I'd say there was no more than 12 to 18 people if you're lucky. It wasn't that many, believe it or not. I went to John Carpenter, and that was around the block. Excuse me, to see him. So it was a big difference. But getting back to today, I'm gonna jump once again. Getting back today, I was extremely tired. What else can I say? Because I was, if it wasn't for my friend driving also, I probably would have not made it to these things today. I made it with plenty of time. Actually, not plenty, about a half an hour, 15 minutes. But here's the funny thing. I literally, watching these movies today, I kept on dozing off. I was just still so tired. I set my alarm on my phone today, this afternoon, to make sure I get up on time, because I figured I'd sleep right through these movies either way. I'd either be sleeping at home through the movies, or I would be sleeping at work through the movies. Well, I'd rather be sleeping at the place because I already paid for the tickets. It's like non-refundable. So, I'd rather do it the other way. So it makes no sense, I know. But hey, at least that way I can say, at least I won. So I'm sitting through these movies, and I try to keep my eyes awake. And honestly, especially through Ridley Scott's movie. I'm sorry. I mean, I remember every time I have seen that film, I've gotten to those points where I just kind of like even watch it at home. It's a very interesting film, but it's definitely more of a true, with the scenery and stuff. It's a true science fiction film, like something like when they first came out with science fiction novels and stuff, or books, that it's like it's right out of a textbook. Not even a textbook, but something like a textbook. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit not that superhero look. It's more the visualization is more of a, is what the whole thing's about with Alien. By the way, real quick, I just got to do this side note because I'm looking at it right now, and it got me really pissed off. Somebody put up on Facebook there's going to be an Ultraman today. It's going on right now. Ultraman marathon, like of all the Ultramans, like the original pilot episode and everything like that. I was like, God, this is freaking cool. Well, it's on that Pluto TV. I heard it was supposed to be on MeTV. It was going to be a marathon or one of the cable networks. No, it's on the free internet access. And Pluto TV, I mentioned before, is the free network you can get, but it sucks a lot where either a movie plays perfect, which I've watched a couple movies and TV shows, whatever, that were really cool, and I had no problem with it. Other times, it's very buggy because it is free, so you get what you pay for. But they did a marathon, and it was on Shout. I think it's called Shout TV. It's a internet cable network that it's free, but it's on on Pluto TV, which it kept on shutting down. It wouldn't play nothing. It played like screenshots. Now, the thing was, why would I continue to watch it? Well, guess why? These Ultramans were the original ones. They had somebody explaining them, some guy, like an American guy, by the way, because, Ultraman's Japanese or from Tokyo or whatever you want to say. These were actually in the original language. Everything was original with subtitles. How many times have you seen Ultraman where they have not been converted, that these are the actual ones from overseas and from Japan? Very, very, like, next to no, I've never seen them. So it really pissed me off. I wish it would have. This is one time, hey, it's like, can't you put on the cable network? Because I really wanted to hear what this guy was saying, too. This one dude who was, like, talking about, oh, this is the back story behind these Ultramans before he showed them. It's like, well, it's not doing me any good. And the thing that sucks, it's all commercial free. That's free too. The commercials are literally put like in between like a movie or show. They show them all at once, then they go through the whole spiel like nonstop. So it's perfect in that way too. You don't get like when this marathon, you're really not going to get really any commercials until I guess probably in the beginning of that marathon and at the very end. And that means a marathon means it's going to be on for like how many hours, days, whatever. So you can't beat any of that stuff, but if it doesn't work, it's kind of pointless, I guess, so to speak. So it's like, oh God, and it looked really interesting. So that kind of pissed me off. And again, I just had to go from a side note to a side note to a side note to another one, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I just couldn't help it. Well, yeah, Walter, you can help it. You just don't wish to. Yeah, you're right about that too. So anyway, yeah, I'm in here and I'm like watching Aliens, and I was like, please just let my eyes stay awake. Let me stay awake because I'm so tired from yesterday. And yeah, it was points that literally I dozed off like I was out like a light, and I woke up and I was like, what happened? And one time I think I was close to a REM state in the Ridley Scott Alien movie that literally I was in the REM state that I started dozing off, and actually when you like that whole thing when you start dreaming about unfinished business, my unfinished business was being in the Alien movie. And it was really freaky because then it woke me up. I was like, whoa, wow, I'm still in the movie theater? I thought I was literally at home because I was going into REM sleep and dreaming at home, not in the chair at a movie theater. So in some ways, it wasn't that expensive, but it would have been a little bit more entertaining if I was awake to watch it, which I barely was, unfortunately. But again, I got to thank my friend Matt because I would have been worse off. I would have literally not even made it to the seat if it wasn't for him. So I have to thank him for that. Yeah, one thing getting into this really quick, and I'll go back and forth as I've been doing that. Honestly, I can see that there was very, very like right out of the movie of the Terror from Beyond Space. I can see where they say, I'm just trying to check my site because I'm using a different computer, so I'm not sure how it's going to be cooperative or not, or if it is. Make sure I split my signal too. See, I use Audacity, and if you don't split the signal, which it is, it normally just comes out of one channel, so you have to split it to a two-channel type setup. And if I don't, then, not cool for me. Not important for anybody, I know. And I really did. I just love her voice. Manson. What is her name again? Shirley Manson. I'm sorry, Shirley. She was very nice of her to do that. The guys were really cool, too. She's like really fun to be with, I guess. She seems like the type of person. She likes to clown around, I've noticed. Just making sure my mic's on. I've done that before. I've turned my mic off. I pulled the cord out before. I think Matt, I was doing a show with him that one time. I did. I kind of yanked everything out. A Yankee. So, yeah, what am I saying? And it's hot in here. So I turned off the fan. I don't want any background noise. I wouldn't have gotten any, but I just don't want to even remotely hear something. But yeah, I can see where Ridley Scott was definitely influenced by this one movie called It, The Terror from Beyond Space. And this guy actually, I can't remember everything he said. This guy who puts on these shows, Matt, when we see him, he's the same guy who puts on like the Horror Fest too. He'll give you the backstory on all these classic movies and B horror movies and blah, blah, blah. He does all his homework on that. But apparently there was a discussion between him and John Carpenter where they were going back and forth, bad-mouthing each other about movies. Now, I don't know which person started it first, but apparently Ridley Scott and John Carpenter had something going back and forth where basically John Carpenter said to Ridley Scott, yeah, I saw Alien years ago when I was 19 years old. It was called It Came from Beyond Outer Space. You basically ripped him off, dude. So then Ridley Scott came back and said, yeah, I saw Halloween. It's a remake of another movie that he saw. And I can't remember which one he said. So, but this guy, I don't remember his name. But again, me and Matt, we go to these horror fests and everything at Phoenixville. Same kind of, same two dudes are always there. They always are responsible for these get-togethers for these kind of things like Blobfest and Horror Fest, Splatterfest they call it, and for these science fiction things, which they do actually on a daily basis, on the weekends, during the weekdays, all the time. So if Matt was actually curious, he could probably even ask if he wanted to know, because I'm sure he's going to ask, well, Walter, do you know what the dude's name is? And like, no, but you see him. You know who he is because you see him all the time. But, yeah, I could see, though, I really could see where Ridley Scott basically took directly from this movie. It came, The Terror from Beyond Space. I should look for that because it was kind of an interesting film. I'm not saying it was great. Just to have as a collector's item, I think I would buy it. Probably wouldn't be that. I hope it wouldn't be that expensive. Let me see. I'm gonna look on Amazon that right now. What if I could just put the explanation point if it would come up? So I'm putting in came from beyond outer space. Sorry about that. Dead Space, Walter. There's no easier way to do this, right? Well, doing stuff actually probably before I start the show would probably be my best bet, but I never do that. It came from beneath, beyond. No, that's not it. Boy, I really fucked up on the spelling. Huh. Let's see. It's an easy way to do this. Here we go. But yeah, I'd just be kind of curious, probably for more, just to do another comparison, contrast. But it's like I even said to I said maybe it's my mother, I don't know, but I said you're comparing apples and apples to oranges. They have very close similarities. He did take a lot from the movie. How much did he exactly take? Well, he had taken the premise, like one part. I mean, the movie's like 59, so if you haven't seen that one, you're shit out of luck. But you can buy it on Blu-ray. They re-released it for like $17 on Prime. I'm sure I could look on eBay and actually find it cheaper. Somebody who watched it and said, you know what, I thought this would be a cool idea to own it, but now I just don't see the point. They said the guy, he did a lot of these. He was typecast as a stunt guy actor who was the alien in this movie called It. And this was one inside thing that they said the guy got it was like this film called It, Terror from Beyond Space. He said this actor said, listen, I'm not going to put on any more costumes. He says, I don't want to be fitted for it. Whatever you do, just make it up and I'll put it on. I don't care if it fits or not. Which he should have gotten fitted for because they said the costume was misrepresented his body, as the best way I can put it. They made it basically too small. At least his headgear was too small. So the rest probably was too big because I don't know exactly how big this dude was. I don't even know the actor's name, who was a stuntman as well. But they said the head of this monster was so small that his chin was hanging out of the mouth part. Where his mouth was, it wouldn't fit on his head correctly. So his chin was literally hanging out. So they said you can see, and I did see it, they basically they painted his chin to look like a tongue because they didn't bother making a mask again. It's a low-budget film, so what do you expect? So, yeah, that was kind of classic. I thought that was pretty funny, actually. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, but it was entertaining to watch, honestly. I probably would watch it again if I bought it. See what it's. eBay is about the same price, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I'm putting in Blu-ray. thing that's really sad, Blu-ray, for older movies, it's not going to really make that much of a difference, but Blu-ray is going to be dead pretty soon. I know people are saying, no, it's not. That's the newest, greatest thing. It's like, well, I hate to tell you, no, it's going to kind of be dead pretty soon because they're going to put out Ultra HD, and it's going to pretty much, hey, they can make more money that way, so why not? I don't know. People, you can. It's like my friend Matt said. He doesn't mean it this way, but it would be like almost the same thing. It's like wishful thinking, though. Oh well, I'm trying to think his analogy and use it for my analogy. That if you hope that things won't change, they kind of always do. Now, he was using a different type of analysis. So if you're going to hope, well, no, you know what? I hope that Blu-ray is going to be around for a long time. I just put a lot of money in just redoing my whole collection of films. Well, you can hope, but the rude awakening is, I hate to tell you, it's not going to change. It's going to be, you're going to have to, if you want to, make it look good on your new TV that's Ultra HDMI, upscaling it is not going to do very much or anything at all. That's a bunch of bullshit. I'll tell you that much. Because I've learned that. Like I get older stuff and older shows I got on DVD, and it's supposed to upscale them on my TV set, and it doesn't do jack shit. No offense. Not that I have one of those Blu-ray players, but what I'm trying to say, what I should have said, is they said like, oh yeah, this Blu-ray player will upscale your DVDs that are 720 or 480, up to at least 720 or something like that. And it's like they don't even make it look bottom line is they don't make it look different whatsoever. They look exactly the same. So once again, it's just a bunch of bullshit. You can think that, but it's not true. Hey, it's nice. So I really wanted to get into the whole thing, and I'm sorry I have not yet about the concert experience yesterday, Shirley Manson. Now, by the way, this week I won't have anything going, but the following week I'm going to, I have doctor's appointment stuff, and I have to meet with this chick that's on a Disney show. I'm doing a meet and greet with her. Her name is Sabrina Carpenter, a young girl, and I'm going to see if she'll do a plug, because maybe I get younger listeners if I. Not that I want them to listen anyway, but I could probably get younger listeners if I have somebody that they can recognize. If I put in Sabrina Carpenter, it's going to pull up, hey, wait, Sabrina Carpenter did a plug for some guy named iWalter? Oh, wait, maybe I better listen to this. It's like, yeah, no, I'll really get in trouble, right? I don't know. I always put explicit content on my shows which is pretty much all of them. Because I do curse a lot. Just lost my bottle cap. It's actually a water bottle cap. Give me a minute. I'm talking still. Not that you're going to hear me. Oh. And I just banged my head into my mic stand, or mic thing, tripod, whatever you call it. So, yeah, there's a nice dead spot there. You can't hear me at all. So, yeah, the movies were really cool. Like I said, or was ready to say, I don't know. But it's funny on the page for, I don't know if they knew they did this, but for the Colonial Theater, the Phoenixville webpage, they reversed the pictures for the movies. So they got like the whole write-up on that movie called It. But then they have the picture of Alien, and then underneath they have the picture of It with the storyline for the Alien movie. So they reversed the pictures. So it's just a little pet peeve of mine. And I got both tickets. I think one movie was $9 and one was like $7, because one was a little shorter. Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, it was 2:00 today. Then it was 3:25 was the intermission. And then they were showing like old trailers for different movies. That's really bad. When I see these trailers for movies, I actually want to buy them. Yeah, tickets are non-refundable. See, I would have been screwed that way. Goes into a whole gist of how the setup is at the movie theater, too. It's not very big. It's very old. I know that. So now one thing that was yesterday, it was funny. The opening band, I don't know who they were for Garbage, but the girl I thought was really cute. She kind of reminded me, her voice reminded me like she must have been definitely kind of influenced by the Motels. If you ever heard of the band called the Motels, because she had that way of singing, this girl. And it was funny because when I saw Shirley Manson in Garbage in the beginning, because I'm going to go back to that now, I figured like, hey, you know what? I got all these great pictures I thought, and here what happened is I adjusted my camera to a different setting. So even when I saw John Carpenter, I got like the worst oversaturated pictures. So I got all these pictures that are like literally like blurred out. With a camera, I normally get razor sharp pictures, and they were all like totally crap. I was going to use the word garbage, but that's just too tongue-in-cheek, and I wouldn't mean it that way. So, yeah, they were horrible pictures. I was really pissed off. Didn't get one. It was like, fungool. I forgot to change it back. I forgot to change my settings. I got really bad pictures. And I was not a happy camper. So, you know, but the reason I'm really upset is like I thought I got these really good pictures, and unfortunately I kind of like just was trying to take pictures of Shirley Manson, and I forgot the other guys. So what happened though was, here I go out to, you know, my friend's car. I said, "Hey Matt, you know, hey can you meet when you meet me back here? Can I go back to your car? And I want to drop off my, you know, my camera, because I said I got really good pictures. I don't want to like pest people when they're going to see Shirley Manson." Now there was a couple of things wrong with that. One was Shirley Manson was just in like jeans, and she had her hair all up in a rubber band on top of her head, and she has her head shaved on the side. But I figured, oh, well, this is how she's going to perform tonight. No, she was actually not in her attire for the night. Neither were the other guys. So it was like, okay, I could have actually gotten better pictures. Two, and when they were performing, I didn't think I would get much more out of them, but I could have actually really gotten some, again, really nice pictures. So I ended up taking them on my phone, and my phone takes really bad pictures. I'm sorry. Apple, they keep on claiming they have like a really good camera on there. It takes excellent pictures. That's a bunch of BS. Their pictures look like total crap. And I really tried, and I've noticed people have Google phones or whatever you call that, or Android phones. They take the most incredible pictures on their phone. So, and I've seen people snapping pictures, and get this, it said at this concert hall, they said, you know, don't bother bringing your camera or your cell phone. I was like, no, I fell for that before. I'm bringing it this time, which I did a pre-rehearsal meet and greet type thing with the band of Garbage. And I'm glad I did this. They allow you to bring your cameras. They didn't even look twice. They never complained about it, even during the concert. And I was taking pictures, so they, you know, I did what they told me to do, but they did not complain. They let me bring it right in both times, both for the pre-thing and then during the concert, because I left for a little bit. You know, we went back to my friend's car. So, where am I going to go with this? Yeah, I mean, overall, it was really cool. Now, again, if I knew she was going to change her costume and everything, Shirley Manson, and then she put her hair down, it was like, oh my God, she looked like believe it or not, to me, she looked like a different person. Now, it's funny because I've gotten pictures, like I've gotten the concerts with Taylor Swift and Madonna, and I was not close enough, but I was able to zoom in that I could see the pores on their face. I got like a crystal sharp picture of even that was with like Madonna. She got really pissed. She didn't want pictures of her face. And I got some pictures that were razor sharp on the same camera, but it was a different setting now, of Taylor Swift, where she was on this high-rise thing of some sort, this like thing that lifted her in that football stadium down in Philadelphia. That's where I went and seen her. I forget which one it was, but it was a football stadium. And I was able to zoom in like I was like literally right next to her, and she was like 50 feet off the field, like on some what do you call it, like crane or something. So how come when I'm only less than 3 yards away, can I get a good picture of Shirley Manson? Well, it was the lighting, because they made sure that the lighting, you could not take good pictures even if you tried. But 2, I had the wrong setting, and I didn't know all this other stuff, like she was going to change her attire. On top of it, because I can't remember, my friend Matt would know, this opening band, the chick wasn't too bad looking, but I'm always going off about girls in spandex, but she had one better. She had like rubber pants on, like those shiny rubber pants, and it was like, wow. And I left my freaking camera in the car. It's like, I didn't expect this. So it gets better, yeah, because, again, I apologize. I don't know what the opening band is. Let me see. I could probably find it, because I don't know. My friend Matt would. I'm going to do a quick, another pause kind of thing, I guess. I'm going to keep it on. Garbage. Opening. Because I think they're torn with garbage, the opening band. Monday garbage sounds. Now they're going to be in New York on Monday. So she was saying, I forget where they came from. Shirley Manson was talking. I did ask her, because we were allowed to ask questions because I got that meet and greet thing. I said, what did you think about working on the Terminator? I think she was like really happy to hear something different besides what she normally hears from people on these like questions. They're more specific about music. But her eyes like lit up like a Christmas tree when I said, "What about? Hey, how was it when you worked on the Terminator show as the villain?" And she's like, "Oh, I loved that." She said, "I love playing the villain." She said, "When I was even in high school, I thought she said high school. She actually got picked for. She played in a play of Wizard of Oz." And she played the Wicked Witch, and she said, "Oh, I love playing the villain." You know, she gets a blast out of that. Now, Shirley Manson, by the way, in case you don't know or don't care, then that's going to really suck. Let me see if I can put in Fillmore. Let me move my mic down a little bit so I can talk while I'm doing this. More. I think it's Fillmore. Garbage at the Fillmore. Anyway, yeah, she seemed more interested in answering my question when I asked it. Of course, other people had to ask questions, but she seemed really involved. Somebody actually asked a political question, and a lot of these people there, I hate to tell you, they are very much not what I am. Like, one place is saying Kristen Control, but I don't know if that was her. It was a girl chick in this opening band. I'm going to have to look her up. I'll know when I see her. So, yeah, but somebody asked, I think it actually was. Yeah, I think it was. Because there was something I wanted to ask if it is her. I think it is, actually. I don't know. I'm just going to take a guess and say, yeah, it was Kristen Control with a K on both. But, yeah, but I thought her music was okay. I didn't think it was spectacular, but I liked the Motels, so that's a plus in my book. The rubber pants definitely did it for me, too, or whatever you call those things. So, she seemed like a really nice girl, too. How old is she? Just curious, I don't know. So, she was from California. My friend thought she went to school around here, but says from California. And I think it is her. Yeah, I didn't get any pictures of her. I think I didn't even bother because it was like, okay, I'm not going to get good pictures. And then it got to the point, I was like, you know what, enough. I'm going to have to get some pictures of Shirley Manson. So I did, and other guys. But they're all like on my phone. I used Instagram. But the problem was I had all these freaking giraffes in front of me, like people that were so tall, and they just pushed their way in front of you, and I could not see. I know, and that's what I hate about a standing room, though. I couldn't get in front of these people. And it even happened to my friend, and my friend Matt, he's really tall, and he had somebody taller than him standing in front of him. He's like 6'something", 6 foot something. I mean, he's tall, and he had somebody taller than him. So, yeah, the whole thing just... was really just irritating. But but That part was. Now, I would have definitely, or I did have a better time because I got to see Shirley Manson and see. So that was worth the money. Believe it or not, was it worth $250 though, Walter? Yeah, actually it was, because me not being able to see any of the concert, even the opening band, which I really could care less about. If I would have just went to that, I would have been so disappointed, so pissed off, so angry that I would have been like, you know what, this is not fun at all. But seeing that in the beginning, getting to see a little bit of a closed kind of like they set up like a private concert for, 3 songs. It's not that much, but it was something. Was worth it. It really was. And her sitting down on the ledge with her band members and all three of them. Well, 3 of the members were talking to us, answering questions and things. People you see in the music videos. Was actually worth it. It really was worth it because, at least it was like a little bit of personal time. Got a picture with her, which I put up, publicity shot, blah, blah, blah. Got her to do a plug for my show, which, hey, I was ecstatic about. Now, believe it or not, as bad as it might seem, like, Walter, why you spend this money? Believe it or not, Shirley Manson, she said there's people who, she said, oh, I remember you from you're one of the people who follow me everywhere I go. Like, a couple of these people in this meet and greet go to different states to do the exact same thing, to meet her, like, everywhere she goes. And it's like, that's got to be really expensive, like roadies, I guess. I don't know what you call them, but I'm serious. She said, oh, I remember you from I saw you before. You came to one of my concerts. You went to one of my meet and greets, and just recently on this tour. So that, to me, that's a bit crazy. I would never go that far. I kind of like, I told a friend I'd like to see Rob Zombie. He's going to be up in the Sands in Bethlehem, and he's doing another meet and greet there. It's a little more expensive than I paid before because I got it really cheap the last time we did it last year with Rob Zombie. But if there's that slim chance that I could pull it off with Rob Zombie, because he is a really cool guy, and say, hey, Rob, can you do a plug for my show? And he would. If I knew I could do it, I'd get him to do it. I probably would say, you know what, fuck it, I'll buy a meet and greet. Not that anybody cares, but it's just, for me, it's good publicity. Hey, I got Rob Zombie now doing I'm not saying I'm going to go or he would do it, but it would be really cool. Do a plug for my show. And to me, that's worth it. Is it worth the $300 or whatever it costs? $250, $300? It depends, honestly, because it gives me more like, okay, I got a really cool opening for my show. So in some ways, and you think if you get a professional to do that, they're going to charge you probably even more than $200-$300. They're not going to do it for free. You're taking their time. You're putting their name out there. So what that's going to end up doing, though, is they're going to ask money. Nothing comes for free. So if you get a concert out of the deal, is it worth it? Yeah, actually, it kind of is. It kind of is, worth it. Did I say that correctly? I don't think I did. So I'm actually stealing other people's pictures from the concert, another one, some really good pictures, like probably professionally done. I mean, sometimes I get pictures that look that way. Did I mention, though, Shirley Manson's like my age. She's 49 years old, so I'm sorry if I didn't mention it. Like, I brought it up and never finished it. I apologize. So I'm telling you now, yeah, she's 49. I actually wanted to do one with Gwen Stefani, but guess how much she was asking? Gwen Stefani was asking like $1,000. Like, okay, that's just plain ridiculous. I'd love to meet her. I'd even pull the same thing with her. I'd say, hey, Gwen, could you do a meet and greet? Yeah, I'm doing the meet and greet with her. Would you be willing to do a plug for my show? And that's all I had to say to Shirley Manson. It was like, yeah, hey, can you guys? And I really just wanted Shirley Manson, but I felt bad, and I just basically I got everybody. So anyway, and I went once again. I went way out in another story, but this opening band that I mentioned, the chick, I got to go back through all my stuff and see if I can find her. She actually she stayed after Shirley Manson. She must have been there for the concert too, of Shirley Manson, Garbage. I honestly, I think You think of Garbage, you think of Shirley Manson. There was a guy next to me. He saw my badge for meet and greet, my tag or whatever you call it. And he thought I was like somebody like going to go see and meet up with Shirley Manson after the show. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, it would be nice, but it's not going to happen. So, Kristen Control, by the way, opening band, I think that was her. What was I going to say? He thought like, yeah, I was going to meet up with her, Shirley Manson. I lost my train of thought already. Can you believe that? No, yeah, you probably can. But yeah, well, anyway, I'm sorry. I am drawing a blank, so my bad. Yeah, I really just drew a blank. Sorry about that. I've done this before on shows, so it's nothing new. But let me just, since I did forget, I got other stuff I can go over, so the only way I can figure out is go back and listen to what I just said, and it's not worth it. Kristen Control was actually outside right after, like, you're talking like midnight when Shirley Manson was over, and I think it was, right? I think it was like around midnight, and, or Garbage, and the girl was out there, the leather, the rubber pant girl, Kristen Control, and she was like basically signing at the vendor's table. She was signing like records and T-shirts and stuff like that. It was like there wasn't that many people really going up to her. It was only like a handful, probably were on the tour from other places where she opened up for Garbage. And it was like, you know what, this would actually be good because the quality of sound I got off my phone, at least, the sound quality for doing the plug for my show with Garbage turned out really well. Depending on how much life I had left on my phone, I could have easily done a quick interview, a plug with this girl. I didn't want to really do a plug with this girl because, honestly, I don't think many people know her, but it would have been probably a pretty good interview. It would probably have been a pretty good interview. Like a quick one, 10, 15 minutes would have been perfect. That's what I did with other people before they didn't really want to do one. And they generally turn out pretty good. Now, hey, I would have gave her some time, and I could have asked, how's it feel like, touring with what do you call it, Shirley Manson and Garbage and stuff, and how did you get started? Tell me a little bit about your background in music. How did you get started in that? Who are your influences? Things like that. But my friend Matt, he was ahead of me. He was already out the door. He didn't realize she was out there, and it was like, dude, you're actually doing me a favor in a lot of ways, because I would have pushed for an interview with this girl, Kristen Control. But at the same time, it would have kind of like, it wouldn't got me too much, more listeners. It would, sometimes it does. I get certain people that, I do an interview with them. They listen in. They get a couple of their friends listen in. They might be actually kind of like followers now once in a while. But it doesn't last that long before it kind of dissipates and goes back down to like just me listening. I could have done that. And plus, today I had to get up at a decent time. I had to go to bed at a decent time. I wanted to get some of that stuff done I did on my pictures, again, which turned out horrible, the pictures I had taken. But I would have definitely done an interview with Kristen Control otherwise. But it would have probably jeopardized. I had too much on my plate for this weekend. Because, believe it or not, it felt like I just started. I'm still stuck on Friday, and now it's going to be Monday morning in about an hour. So that's how fast it went for me, way too fast. So my friend Matt actually kind of kept me grounded. So I don't want to like make him think, because Matt, you do listen in, and I still, which I definitely appreciate that. But I don't want you to think like, oh, this dick, he didn't like. No, I don't think that at all. You actually did me a favor. I mean, I could have got an interview, but then at the same time, you got to pay the price somewhere. You're either paying it through, hey, you got a good interview, and you're going to miss out on the movies, and you're wasting your money that way, or, you kind of do a little bit of both. I wanted to really do both, so, the only way I could do that was by him helping me keep focused, my friend Matt, like, keeping me that I wouldn't spend all night there, because I would end up spending like half the night there just trying to interview people and stuff. And my phone was almost dying anyway. I had a cord, but then there was a couple outlets around, but they're never where you want them to be. You know what I mean? So they're never close enough. I didn't have an extension cord. I just had a cord because I could do interviews on my phone. And I know that now. I don't need to buy a whole expensive setup to do an interview with a person. It doesn't sound as good, but it doesn't sound that bad either. It sounds actually pretty damn good. So, enough of that. But I honestly, I didn't make myself clear, but I will now, that the meet and greet, my friend Matt said, was it worth the money? And absolutely, yeah, it was. Did I have a really good time? Yes. He was asking me, do you feel like the same way when you were 18 and wanted to see a concert? Well, you know what? I never saw a concert until I was literally in my early 20s, mid-20s. And that was because I did see The Cure like twice, I think, Depeche Mode twice. Did I feel the same as I did when I first went to my very first concert? Well, I was already in my 20s when I went to my first concert. I never went my teen years. So it's always been about the same for me. And the thing is, you know, I found new ways, and that was another reason, by the way, I did not want to bring my camera in. I kind of lost why you go to a concert. You go to a concert to enjoy yourself. I've gotten so focused on taking as many pictures as possible, which, don't get me wrong, it's fun. But then you lose all the luster of why you go to a concert. You go there because you meet the people you really like to see. Now they do meet and greets. I really enjoy that even more. So I'm looking up this now because I think, believe it or not, I could be wrong, but it looks like Rob Zombie's actually going to do a tour even on his new movie as well as his concert. It's going to be separate. See if I can do this while I'm on the air. No, it's not working. It says, like, it's literally, I'm looking at it right now. It says Rob Zombie's mailing list. Sign up for Rob Zombie's mailing list. Now, this one is for his new movie, 31. So he looks like, if I'm correct, I'm going to kind of Facebook mark this if I get on his mail list. You know, so when because Kevin Smith's doing that right now with his movie with his kid of, what was it called again? Yoga Hosers, which he's going to be in Red Bank, but he's going to have a birthday celebration. He's not going to have, that's next week, I think his birthday is. And it's like, dude, that's cool, but it's too close. I have a meet and greet I'm doing in Bethlehem next Friday, and his thing's on Tuesday, so it's like, yeah, this is not going to work for me. I can't keep on doing this stuff. And it's not even a meet and greet. That's the thing that kind of sucks. So for Kevin Smith, but yeah, Rob Zombie, I'm looking like the meet and greet package is really cool. I've already saw him once. I really love talking. That time I did get to see Rob Zombie. I thought it was really cool. I really had a blast. Yeah, the man was excellent to talk to. He's very intelligent. When you hear him talk, he's very kind of like cerebral, if it makes any sense. Like, he really kind of gets stuck in his thoughts or whatever like that. He's very serious when he talks, but then when you see him on stage, it's like he transforms himself into a totally different person. He's not like this, yes. I've done that before. I've talked about that. But seriously, he really is like that. But if I could get Rob Zombie to do a what do you call it? It says it's limited, and it did sell out elsewhere. So this meet and greet just went up. It is very limited because he still gets lines. Otherwise, he would never get anything done, basically. He'd be signing autographs. He does draw a crowd. I'm not even kidding. He really does. So, yeah, I mean, if I could do that, it's going to be a couple $100, so that's the only thing. But that's September 15th. My one friend say, "Oh, you're going to do." My friend Matt, you know why? Because he's right. You're going to do it. You're going to buy that Walter. Well, if I wait long enough, no, I won't. But I got to see because I got Shatner. I think September 15th. I don't think I really have anything going on yet. September, October. Wow, I'd have everything. I'd have something every month if I did that. Yeah, I might. I don't know. I'm not doing it right this second. But the longer I wait, it's going to sell out. Trust me, he always does. So yeah, if you go to, let me see, for people who are interested, Rob Zombie. It's called officialwebsites.com. If you look down, it says limited Rob Zombie meet and greet VIP package available by Future Beat, because he had Wonderland before. That's what Shirley Manson had, or garbage. I keep on saying Shirley Manson because to me that is what you get. You get Shirley Manson. So there's different things. There's called the meet and greet package, or the VIP tour package, or the meet and greet upgrade package. Meaning that if you don't buy the ticket right away for the meet and greet and you buy it later on, you can buy it as an add-on. Otherwise, you can get two packages, meet and greet package or a VIP tour. So the meet and greets are on the very top on this list on his page from Future Beat, because he went to somebody else from Wonderland. I don't know why he changed over. Maybe they compete against these VIP things. But the VIP tour package is one premium reserved or general admission ticket, VIP early entry, special designed Rob Zombie t-shirt, collectible tour poster, exclusive Rob Zombie VIP laminate, commemorative ticket, crowd-free merchandise shopping, and limited availability. I didn't get very much for Shirley Manson besides to meet her and garbage and a poster, and I forget. Yeah. I think the ticket was included, though. That was a good thing. I'm pretty sure it was. But the meet and greet for Rob Zombie, though, if you get that right and don't buy the upgrade package, because the upgrade package is going to give you the same thing as basically the if you don't have your ticket, then you get the meet and greet package, which let's see what it says. One general admission pit ticket, so that's perfect. VIP early entry, exclusive meet and greet with Rob Zombie and the members of the band, personal photograph from Rob Zombie and members of his band, specially designed Rob Zombie t-shirt, exclusive to the VIP package only, a collectible tour poster autographed by Rob Zombie, numbered limited print, exclusive Rob Zombie VIP merchandise item, which basically is probably some piece of shit trinket. Official meet and greet laminate, commemorative ticket, crowd-free merchandise shopping, and limited availability. It is on sale right now because closest for me would be Sands Bethlehem. I'll look at it right now. That's on Thursday. See, that's the only thing. I don't know if I have enough time left. 7 o'clock in September. So let's see, because you just pull up Ticketmaster. And then in there, that's where I actually put in for a ticket, and then I just let it go. It's $45 for a standard ticket. It's $300 for the meet and greet tickets. Maximum, you can only buy up to 8. Or me and 3-pack offer multiples, $33.75. So the cheapest ticket's $34, $45 for standard. Meet and greet, you can get up to 8. It is available right now, but it's $300. I don't know if I want to plunge the money in right this second until I know where my time available lies, my money lies, things like that. Because I still got to be try to be a responsible adult for now and see where that will take me. But it would be neat just to get to meet him, just to do a plug. I mean, it is pretty hefty in one way. But again, another way, you're going to pay, you get celebrity people, it depends how high they are up in the food chain as far as being known. You are going to be paying quite a bit of money to get them to do a personalized plug. I think that is why they kind of put that in with garbage, because it was Wonderland. I've been through Wonderland before for other meet and greet packages I bought, this company called Wonderland, that they actually did put in there, no recording devices, blah, blah, blah. And I did it anyway, but I did it with the consent of the band. I always do that. That way, if they get pissed off, they don't want to do it, they won't get pissed off. So, that's the thing. Now, here's another thing I should take into consideration. I forgot I did buy... I don't want to run into two things at one weekend kind of deal, or 1 week. Because I'm looking at this now. I totally forgot about this. I bought a ticket for at that Colonial Theater. I totally forgot about this until I saw it now. Italian All Night Splatterfest 5. But that's on the 3rd. So what did I say Rob Zombie was? I think that was until The 15th. Yeah, it was the 15th, I think I said. So there's a little bit, but it's money, it's time, and, a Splatterfest means I'm going to spend all freaking night until, pretty much the whole weekend, be exhausted. Even though it's 3 weeks between, I think, 2 weeks between. So anyway, for those who are interested, they did change up the movies. They don't have it on here with the update. They did have it. No, they do actually have it here. I thought they updated it. The movies at the Italian Splatterfest, in case you are interested, be 5 movies, which isn't too bad. I'm not going to do those marathons that go on for 12 hours again. I've done that before with my friend Matt, and they are horrible. Troll 2, Pieces, Cemetery Man, Zombie, and What You Have Done to Salome. Somebody was making a joke about that. What have you done to Salome? And it was like, yeah, I wonder what that means too. It's the name of a movie, by the way. But I did buy my ticket for Splatterfest. I got the VIP one because I just wanted to, the VIP one is they give you cold platter food. But hey, I'd rather do that than have to run out to get food. And it wasn't even that bad. It was actually pretty decent. It's a little expensive, $55. So Matt, if you hear that, because you're paying $25 for just the tickets for all the movies. They're old movies, bad movies, but old. Or for $30 more. I know that's a lot more money, but you don't have to leave the venue that way. You can just stay there. I think I even brought my own iced tea or something, a jug of iced tea, because I know it's going to be there. People bring, me and my friend Matt, we brought seat cushions and things like that because your ass is really sore after a while. God, I couldn't even sit through 2 movies today. How am I going to sit through 5 bad horror movies when I couldn't even sit through 2 decent movies? That's going to be wishful thinking, isn't it? By the way, if you're interested, because I did see John Carpenter, Vampires, that movie with James Woods, is actually playing Friday, August 5th there. That's pretty interesting. I'm still on that page. Somebody pointed out, I'm really not too familiar with him. Maybe I should be. They're having a comedy stand-up night, I guess, at Colonial Theater, and it's going to be Rob Schneider. The name sounds so familiar, but it says Rob Schneider. He's actually there Saturday, November 19th. Where do I recognize that name from? Because it might be somebody with the same name. It says comedian. Stand-up thing. Robert Schneider is an American actor, comedian, screenwriter, director, and stand-up comedic, veteran of NBC's sketch comedy series Saturday Night Live. I didn't know that. I honestly did not. Showing grown-ups, The Hot Chick, Animals, Norm of the North, and 51st Dates. Yeah. So if you're familiar with Rob Schneider, he is actually going to be... he's going to do a stand-up thing. Tickets aren't that bad. Point Entertainment, it says Gold Circle tickets are $40 or $40. That means that's right up front, right at the stage. Orchestra's $35, balconies $35, rear balconies $25. Tickets are non-refundable, and he will be playing there on November 19th. So, they're trying different things. I actually liked when I saw, I went, to get tickets, and it's not easy, believe it or not. It was easy that one time. What do you call it, brothers? Bacon Brothers. That was actually, they put on an excellent performance. I was really shocked that Kevin Bacon and his brother really know how to play well. It was really, really cool. So, yeah, Colonial Theater has a lot going on there. They're still trying to push for more money to open up. They bought the bank next door to them, and they still have enough money yet to remodel it. They slowly started taking things out and tearing it apart and blah, blah, blah. But, they haven't done too much more with it. They're just trying to get people all hyped up. So, so let me go into what other stuff I have, because I'm done my first hour now. I don't know how I did this, but basically it's me just babbling on about nothing. That's what the whole show's about, me babbling. So, what I saw when I was watching the movie, I'm just looking for more ways, as Matt is correct about, how to spend money. But I was like watching the Alien movie when I wasn't falling asleep, and lo and behold, guess what I was like paying attention to? It was like, okay, what kind of little knickknacks did they put in the movie from 78, 79 that I haven't, noticed before? And that's exactly what I was doing. So I noticed Sigourney Weaver and the other crew in the original series had these, they were like Casio watches, but they were two different watches on one band. It's because it's supposed to be a futuristic movie. So somebody actually did come up with the idea. I looked tonight from England, and they're called cosplay. Somebody made a cosplay. Basically, it's a fancy jewelry watch. You can wear it at comic book conventions. And the guy sold out of them from England. He's like making these Ridley Scott comic book convention material, double-faced, two watches basically put on one band from the Ridley Scott's Alien. And it said Casio on there. So they got Casio. They said for Aliens, they got a different company to make it, Seiko, to make a futuristic watch. Because the second movie was more so than the first one, dealt with the Navy. It was like the Navy in space. So, anyway, that one they just released last year. And that was for the one that wasn't, it was a Ridley Scott movie originally, but the second one was actually James Cameron. So what they did, though, is the second watch, they had a different style watch. It was from Seiko. It's actually a diver's watch, but it's made by Seiko. That one was selling, I think, for $300-$400, but people who still have those, might have bought an extra one. Well, guess what they did with the price? They put them on eBay for the Seiko one. $1,000 for a watch that Seiko was originally selling for like $350. So I mean that's a lot of money. $350 is a lot. $1,000's like 3 times that amount, so that's even more money yet. Something like that. So you know what I mean. It doesn't matter if I'm correct or not. So I'm sorry. I'm looking at these pictures. Some guy has the guy in the costume of the werewolf in his garb, and he's playing with a real dog, but the guy who played the Wolfman in the black and white movies. And one of them, he's actually sleeping with the dog. So there's that old saying, I was going to send it to a friend, you sleep with dogs, you wake up with fleas, that old saying. So I was going to send that as a joke to my one friend, but see if I can do that now while I'm on air. Let me see if I can just pull this. It's just funny. Yeah. So that was the story. I should wait to do this. So let me see what else I have in my mix. Oh, and then I got on my Facebook page, and I never really thought of Sigourney Weaver as being that hot looking. When I first discovered, I really liked Sigourney Weaver. I thought she was really hot, believe it or not. It was like in those Ghostbuster movies because she looked more like sexy. And another thing that she was really sexy on, I still remembered it because I think it was, she did like Ghostbusters 2. She was in all these different Alien movies, because she became like the main character. And I remember she did an interview on one of these talk shows, and she comes out in an ultra tight skirt that was she has like really no build. She has very small breasts, and she's built like a pancake in the back even. Because like I remember in Aliens when I saw that, I swear to God, I was like, she kind of looks like she's a boy because she's so like flat. And then she had on those, which I think now looks really sexy, but she had on like these panties that her ass was hanging out because the panties were like, she's a skinny woman. She still is. She's like a very skinny woman. But she had on these underpanties like that were so tiny that it only covered part of her ass, not even her whole ass. It covered part of her ass. And then I was watching it today because it was like a high definition copy on a big screen, which I was ready to like paint the screen if you get my drift. jerking off. Because what are you talking about, Walter? What do you mean painting the screen? Okay, I'm jerking off on the screen. Does that make it easier for you guys? Matt? No, I'm just kidding. I'm picking on Matt. So I'm watching. I was like, oh my God, these panties are so small on Sigourney Weaver. I think like her crotch is almost hanging out of the top because the panties barely cover her crotch. Like the hair, the bush on her private part, like was like what's trying to get out. I was like, hey, come on, I'm trying to get out of here. What do you keep me in here for? Because those panties were so freaking small. They must have did that deliberately. And I believe that when she was younger, at least, I thought Sigourney Weaver might have been a model or something like that. She's got the build of a model, which usually they are that waif look, and she has that going on. So enough of that stuff, but they have a publicity shot when she was like in the Alien movie because she's really young. She's really young. So she has on this watch, by the way. It's the same one. If you look at my Facebook page, you should see it there. Yeah, you will. Of the watch I'm talking about. Somebody made a replica, and it looks kind of cool, but basically all it was, they molded to Casio, those watches you used to get with a calculator on there, and they changed it slightly. But they took two Casio watches and made a double wristband. So that's futuristic for you. It was like not very far stretched from what you would wear back in 1979. I actually had a watch similar to that, not double watched, but, something similar to that. So it looks kind of cool. So somebody came up with the idea, I'm just going to redo these because you got those 3D printers now. You could just make the mold for that. So it looks kind of cool. They actually made one that was a modernized version of that for some video game called Alien Annihilation. It was a video game for your console. So they actually put that watch from the original Alien into the video game, which they kind of altered it a little bit. So this guy from England's making both versions. Like, dude, if it's not too expensive, I think it was like, well, it said 45 pounds, so I got to figure out what that is in dollars. That would include shipping, but how big would the box be? Let's see. I'm putting in the price of 45 pounds. I guarantee it's going to be like $75. 45 British pounds is like $60, 59.63. Yeah, I'm telling you, England's really taking a shit on their money because 45 pounds years ago would be like $90 in U.S. dollars because their dollar system was much better than ours, I would think. Now with that euro dollar, it's really taken a crush even on the British gold pound. So they've gotten screwed from the whole thing. And with all these wackos running around, it's even worse, running our governments. Not just ours. That's why I said governments. Other countries are just as whack as we are. So I'm getting really hot here, by the way, because I'm keeping the fan off. So I'm going to keep this short after up till now. I haven't because it's over an hour. So I jumped into Sigourney Weaver, and she was really hot. But she was on this show, and she had this skirt that looked like it was literally like they put saran wrap around it. It was so freaking tight. I mean, she could barely walk in it, and it was the big thing because even the talk show host, I can't remember. I remember, folks, I think I kind of recorded that. That's when you had VHS. I recorded that just so I could kind of take care of business. What do you mean by that? I was jerking off. Okay? Do you got that, Matt? I'm kidding again. So, yeah, I'm not kidding. It was like, oh, my God, she looks... I, could not get enough of that. It was like, oh, my God, she's got a unique build. She's kind of got, that flat ass, but it looked so hot that I've never seen, up to that point. You see, she plays more of a boyish character all the time, at least in Alien movies, in a tight, ultra-tight skirt that was so freaking tight, she could barely walk on stage. And it was like, this is the best thing since, I was, in a toy store on TV. Not that I was, but you know what I mean. No, you don't, do you? I was going crazy over it that I had to tape this. It was like, oh my God, so I can go back later on and just jerk off a few times, watching this. I mean, it was like an ultra tight skirt on Sigourney Weaver. It was like, wow, this is great. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't get enough of watching, like, rerunning this thing over and over again. If I can find it tonight, you know what I'll be doing. What are you going to be doing? You're that stupid? I'll be jerking off to the Sigourney Weaver thing if I can find it. I love people like that. You tell them directly what you try to hint around, and when they don't understand you, then you just kind of come out with it. And they say, what do you mean by that? It's like, oh, I just told you what I meant. Are you that stupid that you don't even know yet? So I'm going to put this up on Facebook. I'm not going to buy it, but it says the one watch the Sigourney Weaver wore. It was bad enough I paid a lot for these Alien Stompers. I got every version of the Alien Stompers now, literally. It's the Seiko vintage non-digital watch by Ripley Alien. It's 7A28 Speedmaster BMW M1, $800. Now, that's not what they charge, because Seikos aren't like luxurious watches. They're kind of like cheesy watches. They're expensive, but they're not that great. I mean, you're not talking Rolex material, but you're talking a price that is not as high either, but it's up there. But originally, they were only asking, honestly, for that watch, they were only asking $350, but hey, people figured out there's enough people out there like myself that I'm not going to do it this time, but there's people out there that will spend that kind of money just to own a piece of, the alien universe, so to speak. Now, my thing was always has been, always will be, is the Alien Stompers. That was my number one thing, which I had successfully, over the years, rebought those shoes so many times. It's just ridiculous. So there we go. I just posted it. Some friend, was even my friend Todd or his brother put up, I'm looking at it right now, so I'll get it out of the way. They got it from the getawaypundit.com. And by the way, they put something up so funny, I couldn't watch enough. I was laughing so hard. Democrats toss U.S. flags on floor and in trash after Hillary's Pittsburgh rally. So there you go. I mean, that's really pathetic. Hillary's all about the American flag. So I don't know what this story is about, because it really doesn't have one. The campaign handed out U.S. flags to the supporters. After the event, the U.S. flags were tossed on the floor. One reporter said the flags were confiscated at the rally. So it was all a big publicity thing. Oh, yeah, we're all American. We believe in America. So here they grabbed all these flags and were showing them, and right after the convention, they just threw them on the floor in the garbage can. American flags. I mean, that's great. Seriously, that's ridiculous. I know I just contradicted myself, but I'm trying to be hypocritical. Not a very good way, I know. So let me go back. I'm just closing down stories at this point. So thank you guys for that, Matt and Paul Thomas. Thank you, both you guys. I'm not going to pick or choose. I'm going to say both you guys. Let me see, because I'm going to find this thing they put up, and it was really funny. I had something else actually was really funny too. Let's see. That I found. It was a thing on Amazon. They have a documentary on farting. I'm going to see if I can find that again. Let's see. Todd and Paul. They put up something, by the way, of Bernie being like a lapdog. It's like an stick figure of Hillary with that slogan she has, and she's got a stick figure of Bernie Sanders on a dog leash bowing at her knees. That's pretty funny too. But which one? There was one that just literally made me laugh my ass off that they put up, and it was like, I didn't know. Okay, here it is. I was going to actually use this as my cover. I can't. So some fat person, like a fat kid, with a plastic bag asphyxiating themselves, like choking themselves to death with a plastic bag over their head, a clear glass plastic bag. And then it says, show your support for Hillary by doing the plastic bag challenge. And I just lost it because I'm like, I was just finished. Thank goodness I didn't check my text during the movie because I literally just lost it. I was laughing so fucking hard. It was funny because I was laughing really hard. I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever saw, because yesterday or last night, my friend Matt, he was talking about, it's going to be actually almost August 1st, so I'm not going to be able to say that. He was complaining, I agree with him, so it's not complaining, but he was talking about how people are so stupid they were going to vote for Democrat no matter who it is. I, mentioned to my friend Matt that I'm not that way. Hey, I generally vote Republicans. I have not found a Democrat that I really would vote for. But if the time would come that the Democrat person running under the Democrat name was somebody that I actually agreed with, I wouldn't hesitate to change my party, change over from Republican to Democrat if I had to. But I'm not going to do that because I haven't found anybody yet. But these people are such drones. He was talking about this yesterday in a roundabout way. People are such drones on the Democratic side. Their vote for anybody, even you put like a shirt and tie on a piece of fecal matter, and you say this would make the best president in the world, they will believe you. Like, they're total idiots, these people. I'm sorry, but they really are. So, let's send us a message. I can't hold out anymore for this. Sleeping dog with a dog. I think it's funny. If I can get it to come up. Okay, I got some dead spot. Sorry about that, folks. Here we go. Let me just put this in. Let me move this down so I can do this. You sleep with a dog and you wake up with, and I'm going to leave the rest go. How's that? You sleep with a dog and you wake up with, and I'm going to do the ... thing. I'm trying to fix this thing. Why I moved my mic back up, dummy. So, yeah, this was with the Wolfman thing. It's on my Facebook page. Now, I guess my friend Matt, he doesn't have Facebook, so he wouldn't be able to see it, so I apologize. It's funny, though. It's the guy who played the Wolfman from back in the 50s. Who was that? Cheney, probably? And he's, literally sleeping, has... in the costume garb, he's laying his head on the dog's stomach. It's pretty funny. So I want to see what else I have. Oh, you know what? My dad mentioned this today, folks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare people. Conservative outfitters, but my dad heard this on the news. 16 people dead in a horrible hot air balloon crash. There was too many people in this hot air balloon. It was way overloaded. So the balloon was so overloaded, it needed more, I guess, firepower to get it up off the ground, and the balloon caught on fire. I mean, that's gas you're basically burning, right? A hot air balloon crashed into central Texas Sunday, leaving at least 16 people dead, according to law enforcement officials. The balloon caught fire near the power lines. I mean, it was. Maybe I'm wrong on the way I'm explaining it. Bottom line is, it was just way overweighted. And now it's saying, I guess it hit a power line somewhat, whatever, but it caught fire. The balloon was occupied, and it does not appear at the time that there were any survivors on the crash. They actually show a picture of this burning balloon going down, the actual one. And they had a video, but they took it off, had taken it off. Investigators are determining the number and the identities of these victims at this time. So they're trying to identify all the charred bodies, basically. Texas Governor Greg Abbott released the following statement, though. Cecilia and I extended our deepest condolences for all those who have been affected by today's heartbreaking tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families, as well as the Lockhart community. The investigation into the cause of the tragic accident will continue, and I ask all of Texas to join in prayer for those lost. So there you go. And I'm still going. So that was pretty wild. Now, this was something really cool because I'm into all these DC comic ones. But they just put up on comicbookmovie.com tonight, which is only going to be for another 20 minutes for me, the Amazonian princess goes to war in the first badass TV spot for Wonder Woman. So finally they're putting on, like, it looks awesome. I saw it online already, the new Wonder Woman movie. And the theme they use for Batman versus Superman is actually the theme for Wonder Woman, believe it or not. They're using that theme for her. If you heard the musical score for Batman versus Superman during the fight scenes, that's going to be Wonder Woman's new theme. At least that's what they're insinuating. So that's pretty cool, actually. I might even let it go at that because, it's been my hour and a half. I don't know how I did it. Of course, I left a lot. If you go to my page, if you can find my Facebook page, my Twitter page, my Instagram, you will see some pictures I had taken. None of them are that great. Even the picture, my publicity shot looks good with Shirley Manson and everything like that from Garbage, but honestly, I look like shit. I look like I'm going bald, and I'm not liking that fact. I'm really hating that, in fact. So you're finding some other interesting things. Somebody was actually humane enough to do this, but it looks like a little baby. Let me see. It looked like one of those killer whales. It looks like, unless it's a dolphin. I can't really tell, but maybe it was a dolphin, got washed ashore, so the man actually physically picks up the beached whatever mammal or what do you call it? Some type, because a mammal would be a dolphin or some type of fish. Maybe it was a dolphin, and he basically, cradles in his arms, his little guy, and makes sure that it can get, put back in the water, that it can, go out on its own to swim back out. It got too close to inland. So I saw that. I really took a little thing out of me. The guy was like humane enough to do that, and the poor little guy, the thing took off. Was happy. He got back in the water because it got washed ashore. And it's on Your World. Again, it could be like a baby, but it's too tiny, but it's got like the black and the white. So my assumption was I thought it might have been a baby whale, which would be killer whale, which that's a mammal. But it could have been, like I said, I don't know. I'm always wrong about everything. But you can see that video. It's really cool, though. Put some stuff up about Superbad and Batman versus Superman again. As always, Suicide Squad, because that's coming out like now this Friday, actually. I don't know if I'll be able to see it. Yeah, because it'll be this Friday, though. You know what? And somebody put up there's going to be a Sharknado 4 on Sci-Fi. I'll check those out. Some reason I like those. Speaking about on the shark thing, somebody put up why Suicide Squad replaced King Shark with Killer Croc. So I did not know that because Killer Shark was actually in what was that? That one TV show Kevin Smith likes, which I was watching. I stopped watching The Flash. I will go back to it. So I didn't realize that it was supposed to be actually in the Suicide Squad. It was supposed to be Killer Shark. He's like basically, as Kevin Smith puts it, it's a shark with pants on, a shark with pants and arms. But they changed Killer Shark from Killer Shark to Croc, which I think the movie looks really cool. And I don't know if my friend liked it. He didn't respond back, my friend Matt, but he was telling me he went to this restaurant, bar, or whatever around the corner from where I was going to see while I was waiting for me. Poor guy, Matt. Shirley Manson and Garbage. And he said, oh, yeah, I walked into a, what do you call it, Pokemon event going on in the bar. And it was like, I can't believe it. So he had to walk back out. So I put up as a joke yesterday, because somebody put this up, where it's funny, but it shows like that Pikachu, whatever you call it, from Pokemon, little yellow critter. Somebody painted their fucking dog up to look like that. That's ridiculous. Literally painted the dog yellow and made it look like that thing. But it's a cartoon, and these people all on their cell phones while the thing is trying to take a shit. Literally, take a shit. So it's a cartoon, and it says, for fuck's sake, can I get 5 minutes, at least to take a shit? So somebody put underneath, I don't know what happened to the picture, because I cut and pasted this cartoon. I thought it was hilarious. But somebody put it under the comments, and it got taken down, but the Pikachu, whatever you call it, taking his shit and throwing it at the people with their cell phones. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, overall I had a good weekend. God, it's hard to believe. Oh, and I just remember, I had to look this up, but there's a documentary on Amazon. It's free right now to watch it, and it's actually really pretty interesting on the history of farting. So they put in the background, they added some humor to it, because who cannot find humor in farts, you know? And that's what the whole thing was. How long in our mankind's history, in women, that farting's been always like the butt of every joke, no puns intended. So there was this music video, they put like bits and pieces in the background. They were showing bits and pieces. They had some commercial, by the way, folks, it was so funny on, you know, oh, well, you know, we're going to make a, you know, we got these cars that are electric, but electric actually uses oil and shale and stuff, so you're really not saving any money. And at first, I thought it was a real commercial in this documentary. They say, but now and it was like one of those smart cars, now we're making a flagellant car. And by the way, you can become a specialist. This is no joke. I'm not to look that up now. I just reminded myself. A flagellants, basically a fartologist. I'm not even kidding. That's an actual thing. I mean, me and my friend Matt always talk about how people will put money or get, you know, in stupid research. There is actually a fartologist or something like that. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, this chick made, and she's really hot looking. She made this music video. It's called "I Think I Farted." A Tyrant Southern, Shane Dawson and Joe Nation. I was watching. I was laughing so hard on that I literally almost shit myself. And they made the comment in the documentary. There's some guy from England. He actually makes money off of being like a fart man type thing. They did not mention Stern once in this documentary, though, which is really weird. It's like, how can you not mention Fart Man? Because Fart Man was like the, you know, was the thing back in the day. So let me see if I can find this video on. Actually, I wonder if I can just put in documentary on farts. Let me move down my mic again. Documentary on. I actually put a thing up on Facebook on the documentary movie, but the post or whatever. For the movie, I might have to go that direction because I can't find it. Let me go back to my Facebook page, at least for that. Let me put in fartologist or fart. It was something like that, like fartologist. I mean, Urban Dictionary, fartologist. A fartologist is a person who studies farts. I am going to the community college to get an associate's degree in fartology. They actually said that really does exist. I mean, you can get... I mean, can you imagine going to fucking college for a degree in fartology? Yeah, it says fartologist. So, it says it's an Urban Dictionary thing, but they claim that it's actually a real thing. And you know what? I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there really is. There's actually a thing on fartologist. I mean, it's the biggest joke, I guess, too, but does it surprise you there be a fartologist? You really don't think there is. I probably, you know, they're saying according to this thing, that it actually does exist. They tell you at the very end of the thing, yeah, there is a fartologist. So, you know, there's people who just take a degree on flagellants, like get a degree in flagellants. It's like, well, I wouldn't need a degree in that, but I'm just saying, I mean, it's just because, you know, I'm not doing a very good joke because, you know, I have enough gas. I don't need to get a degree on learning about it. I already know too much about it. So I'm going to kind of dig down about this thing because I don't know how far down it would be. It'd make it a lot easier, I'll tell you that much. Then, hey, there's a fundraiser I put on for Donald Trump. But I'd say that, like, I got a little respect, at least during the meet and greet, for, because, you know, people were mainly wanted to ask, Shirley Manson the questions at the Garbage concert last night, at the meet and greet beforehand that I had paid for. So you had this one guy that asked, like, you know, he obviously was a big probably Bernie Sanders, I would say, obviously going to be a Hillary supporter. So he tries to, like, dig into her. It's like, what do you think about this stuff with, you know, Trump and stuff? And she was so quick on making sure not to answer that question directly. She made it ambiguous. She thinks that people that are political figures everywhere just need to kind of grow up and get work together, not work against each other. But she would not specify. I found the documentary thing. She would not specify either or party. It's like this is what you call a mature adult, though, in many aspects. Who knows? She probably is a liberal, but she's not going to admit to it. She just basically says we need to work, both sides need to work together, not against each other. We need to stop this stuff. She literally said to the guy, you know, people need to grow up. Now, they're taking it, since she was being ambiguous, the people are taking it like, okay, well, she's saying that for the Democrats. Well, it could go either way, you idiot. So, no offense to that guy. Anyway, the history and humor of the fart documentary by Troy Hale. So there you go. You can find it. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can get it for free, which I did. I watch it. Yeah, I am paying for it, but hey, I'm paying for stuff that I don't use 99% of the time, so I'm just saying I'm getting it for free. And leave it at that. I'm not going to try to explain it because I'm not doing a good job. So, and my ears are really starting to hurt with these headsets on, so I gotta give up. I wear a headset when I do my shows. I had to make sure I got loud. Okay, I got a sound check. That was my sound check. I told my friend Matt there's two different links though. I thought he'd find it funny. For where they take every movie out there, by the way, and they make it into a parody porn. Now, they do it for every superhero movie. They make, like, porns, but generally give it a little bit of grace of time before they do this. Well, get this. They actually did this ahead of time, and they put out a parody porn of Suicide Squad, which is coming out on, well, today, I think. I think it's today. Well, it's going to be today because I'm getting close. I only got 8 more minutes. Is going to be August 1st. So I'm going to say today. Actually, it will be technically for me tomorrow. It's going to be Monday that they're going to put out a parody film that is like frame by frame, not changing anything besides that they put porn into it, of Suicide Squad. Like they literally ripped off the movie before it even came out. Now, who's going to see a porn movie? Not anybody unless they buy the video, and by the time they would get the video in the mail, they would already seen the other film. It won't make a big deal. But just to cut it to the chase, beat Suicide Squad from coming out, they already put a porn out before the movie came out, technically. It will be that way, at least. So, anyway, I'm looking at this right now. It says 50th anniversary for Ultraman was marked for Saturday. Marathon airing this Saturday on Comic Book Alliance. Well, actually, was on this one channel. Like I said, it was on Shout TV. They had it today. The marathon must have started Saturday. It was continuing today, but it was on shoutfactorytv.com, which unfortunately I don't know if I can get that on my Apple TV. But it's called Shout Factory. Let me put in Shout. I got an extra T in there. Welcome to, let me see, Shout Factory. Because some of your devices will actually be able to do that. I got a lot of dead spots. I'm sorry about that. Shout Factory actually puts out a lot of your videos, at least videos I'll watch. But they've been doing a marathon for it says Sunday, July 31st at 12 p.m. It says on here, but it actually Shout TV, but it's an internet thing, but I don't know, because sometimes, is that something you can get on Apple TV? Because if it is, then that would be in business. I know it's not on the Xbox, so that's the thing. But I actually try to look for it on my cable box. It's like, dude, I used to love this show when I was a little kid. I'd love to watch these. So I can put it on here. Ultraman Marathon. It really pissed me off, because honestly, I wouldn't have gotten the show in tonight. That's the only problem. Twitter, Facebook, and stuff. TV, film, About Us, frequently asked questions, live events. Yeah, so where do you get Shout Factory TV? Can you get it on any of your box sets or something? Yeah, it really pisses me off, though. Continue. I'm looking at it right now. That's what I'm trying to do. No, I want you to come up on Apple. That's another thing. My at least on my desktop, because I screwed up by putting some virus protection on there. It screwed up my what do you call it? Safari. So now I'm forced to use, unfortunately, Mozilla, which I haven't used in such a long time. So I'm going to put on your devices. Move this down. Your devices. Boy, I really spelled that wrong. About chat, frequently asked questions. On your desktop computer using browsing, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer. On your mobile device, includes iPhones, iPads, Androids for Shout TV and mobile devices. No apps to download required. Shout Factory TV is also available on the Roku, Amazon Fire, of course, and Samsung TV. So, additionally, supported a linear on Pluto TV. So, I do got a Samsung TV set. So, I'm going to see if I have to pull up Shout TV on there now. Get an app for my television set itself. I'll do that once I'm done this segment, so I can at least watch it, because I really wanted to watch Ultraman. I really wanted to watch it. God, I haven't been on for such a long time. I forgot, but I did put up something, by the way, that was kind of funny. Somebody just gave me a Miley Cyrus with a Jewish star she's wearing around her body and her little leotard. It's pretty funny. I like it, though. Yeah, folks, so I'm going to cut this short now, and I know I can get it on my TV set. Shout TV, and I can watch Ultraman. Yes. Yeah, baby, yeah. So, folks, I am extremely, sweating right now in my room, for one thing, so this is another reason I'm going to end my show. Oh, excuse me, that slipped out. Watch certain things I talked about. Let me know what you think. And this is Walter from iWalter. I really got to sign off, folks. And it's been almost an hour and 42 minutes. So, hey, have a good night. I probably had other things I want to talk about, but not at this point. Thanks again for listening. This is Walter from iWalter. And yes, I am signing off.